back because Scotty Brinson's just in front of him. So I think Ronnie's looking at getting a toe lap in, coming with less than 5 minutes to go. So I think Ronnie's going to try to see if he can beat out Nate Siefker for that pole.
And it wouldn't be this lap, though, for Osmer because he had let Brinson go on the Kemmel straight, so he's setting something up for next lap. Mark Walker, Charles Quiros, Dan Brazington, and Raul Alvarez have not set times yet here in this session. They're the only 4 that have not.
And I do need to give a welcome to our fans on YouTube. Sorry for the delay in the start of that part of the broadcast. That was my mistake. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to get your hate mail coming to me on that one.
Well, welcome to YouTube then. Haven't really missed much, as you can see. We're just going through qualifying.
Have you seen the points lately?
I have not seen the points lately.
Speaking of which, I need to actually look at
okay,
myself.
So Jeff Hollingsworth sitting at the top of the pile with a couple of great finishes on the past couple of weeks. Scott Brinson is 12 points out in second place. Jeff Webker is sitting 10 points back from Scott in third place, and then it gets really tight. You're 4 points back to both Butch Davis and Paul Crumry, tied for fourth. Then you're 5 points back to Nate Siefker and Ernie Ludwig, tied for sixth. Then you're 3 points back to Mike Sturgill in eighth. 2 points back to Ronnie Osmer in ninth, who's also tied with Dan Brazington. Then you're 1 point back to Luis Gonzalez Nunez in 11th. 3 more back to Chris Walker in 12th. 1 more back to Kevin O'Brien in 13th. 14th is only 3 markers back, and you got Kieran Bergelli and Carl Burke tied at 14th. And then you're 4 more points back to 16th with Mark McFadden. Johnny Antonucci's 5 markers back from him. Tim Bates is 5 more markers back from him. And Raul Alvarez in 19th is only 1 point back from Tim Bates. Then you're 13 points back to Colin Scott. So throw a blanket over your top 20 right now, ladies and gentlemen.
That's good.
That is an incredibly close race and an incredibly close call for Jeff Hollingsworth, who just after you mentioned him on the point standings throughputed. He has come back, though. And one guy who is now returning to the racing surface is Nate Siefker. He has come back out. He is on an out lap right now on the Kemmel straight, trying to repeat what he did in practice at setting a 155.7 there.
And Ronnie Osmer just goes second quick with a 156.3.
Yep.
And that would have been, I'm not sure, did he get a toe that lap? Or?
He did.
Okay,
Yeah, he
so
did.
there you go. And that would be the difference right there. And I'm seeing it right now as Brinson spun coming out of the bus stop there. So Nate Siefker trying to warm up the tires, going for that fast lap.
I don't know if Siefker's going to have enough time to get this lap in, because we're at 19 minutes right now. Or, yeah, the 19-minute mark right now in a 20-minute qualifying session.
I apologize. Yeah, no, and unlike Formula One, again, just bringing up Formula One again, this is once the time ends, This is not like once you cross the line with X amount of time left that you get to keep the lap.
He might make it. They're at 15 seconds. He's stopping.
He's stopping at the bus stop here.
What is he doing?
Yeah,
he's going to get a toe. That might have just cost him, though.
Yeah, no, there was no
5
chance.
seconds.
Even then,
he would have made it beforehand. Nope, he did not make it.
Yeah, no, he just missed out, but he wouldn't have been able to complete the lap anyway.
If he had made it, I will be shocked.
Oh, actually, he will.
Actually, he might be able to make this lap.
He would have been able to, because there's a 2:45 time limit left. We're not used to seeing that here.
But the thing,
let's see what type of magic Nate Siefker can work. If we can get the boys in the truck to go to the helmet cam, you can see what a lap looks like here around Spa Francorchamps. I believe we've got the cockpit camera that's a GoPro on Nate Siefker's helmet.
See him coming down the Kemmel Straight here, going into the Lacombe complex. Malmedy now heading downhill towards Rivage. All of the forces on the car trying to push the car off to the outside. You got to really fight it into No Name Corner. It's going to be a very quick left coming up here. This is Pujon, a double apex left.
I have Nate Siefker as purple right now, meaning he's on a flyer.
Into Fanges. Want to stay as far over to the right so you get the widest entry into the left. Into Campus, which is a lot tighter and longer than it looks. Ooh, little slide there. That might have invalidated the lap as he goes through Stavelo.
No, he did not go too far into the green, so I still have him as purple.
There we go. Headed down to Blanchimont, which in GT cars is almost assured death.
True story.
Yeah.
Braking hard braking zone into the bus stop chicane. Can't get on the power too early here. Got to really roll into it. And there is the lap time.
Not quick enough.
156.33. He lost it all in the last segment.
Yeah, and that's still good enough. He's on pole still. As we will throw up the results here in just a second. We still have a couple of guys out on track. Dan Brazington on track right now going through Fanges. Now, Dan Brazington's at a 2 minutes, .613. Down the long back straightaway here.
He's not going to make it.
I don't think he's got enough time to make it.
Yeah.
9 seconds left. He might just get it.
No, he's if they were still at speed, he would, but
nope.
He's not. You know, he's
not gonna make it.
That will do it for qualifying. We'll take a look at our starting lineup here in just a moment as we get ready for 40 laps. All right, thank you. 40 laps here at Spa Francorchamps. The starting lineup: Nate Siefker, Rodney Osmer, Chris Walker, Scott Brinson, Jeff Webker, Butch Davis. That will be the first three rows, Tony.
Then you go with Ernie Ludwig and Sam Cooper Bennett in row 4. Row 5 is going to go to Kevin O'Brien, Jeff Hollingsworth. Paul Burke and Tim Bates are going to roll off in row number 6, with row 7 going to Mark McFadden and Dan Brazington. Raul Alvarez and Mark Walker are going to be starting shotgun on the field. So 17 cars scheduled to roll off here tonight. One thing I do want to point out, Frank, interesting qualifying is you got Siefker and Walker starting first and third. So Team NLR on the inside row, with Rated R Racing with Ronnie Osmer and Scott Brinson starting on the outside lane, nose to tail. So there's a little rivalry forming between those two teams.
And looking through the race chatter here, NLR front row lockouts are not allowed. That was from Ronnie Osmer. So Tyler, I believe, I'm not sure. This is my first road race with Top Fuel. Are these standing start? Oh, okay. No, there's pacing starts.
They are not. Yep.
Okay. So my question to you is, are they going to be spread out enough through going into the La Source hairpin, the first corner, to not just end in complete tears?
These guys are smart. They'll give each other room. They'll still be pretty close, but I think honestly, by the time we get to El Rouge, everyone's going to be single filed out, knowing that it's a 40-lap race. A lot can happen in 40 laps. There's no full course cautions either, so it's pretty much once the green flag waves, the next flag you're going to see it's a checkered flag. So it'll be very interesting to see how the start is, but that's what I'm looking at seeing the start will be.
Yeah,
so there will be a full course caution if there is a pileup in the hairpin.
Okay, into La Source. Okay, so there will be a full course caution there. We'd like to thank our title sponsor here tonight, us actually, as the field comes through the final bus stop hairpin. We are green here at Spa Francorchamps.
Already spread out. No one really. Everyone giving each other room. Ronnie's up a second. Oh, we got Sam a little wide.
Oh, and he gets hit. He got clipped in the back there. Did Sam Cooper Bennett? As Sam went wide. Now there is a fast repair, so Sam is not done and out of this yet, but he has to get that car back to the pit lane.
Oh, he just lost it again. Oh,
and that has to do right there. That's the rear wing being folded up on his car. That's unfortunately making life very difficult for Sam. And Tony, as we mentioned, he was looking very much forward to this race here tonight.
Yeah, Tyler, what is it with every time Sam Cooper Bennett comes to this track that the rear wing just gets wadded?
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
that's a fair point. I thought I saw Chris Walker spin it, but he didn't. But yeah, I'm 100% agreement with you, Tony.
The rear wing just is the price every time Sam comes to Spa. No offense, Sam, but man.
And again, he does.
I love the track just as much as you, but wow.
He does have a fast repair, so he's not dead and buried yet. But up at the front, Nate Siefker being put under pressure early here from Ronnie Osmer as they head into Blanchimont.
Absolutely. You got two of the young gunners in the league that they're both hungry for wins. They're both aggressive drivers. The question is, can they keep the cars underneath them for all 40 laps?
and in Nate's case, sorry, Tyler, we'll
not get Gatorade dumped on him.
I was going to say, in Nate's case, let's keep the Gatorade showers until after the race. Tyler, as we get through here, who do you feel as though is going to be strongest as we move on through this race here?
Well, I was originally going to go with my buddy Ronnie, knowing how he is on long runs, but I look at it though that if Nate can already start pulling away like this, it's going to be Nate's race to lose. I mean Chris Walker as well, but I'm looking at Ronnie being the big opportunist with how he was. I mean, especially last week winning at Michigan after his fuel save paid off for him. So I'm keeping an eye on Ronnie, but at the same time, he's got to stay within about half a second or even roughly a second where he's at right now to make any chance on going a little bit longer than Nate, because you have to beat Nate on green flag run. There ain't no way you're going to beat Nate on the short run.
Here's the other thing to consider. Nate Siefker, during the 24 hours of Spa, put the ESBN Ferrari third quick and then proceeded to lead the first 5 hours of the race.
Yeah, there goes Osmer. Osmer is around. That's Campus.
God dang it. Why did I have to jinx Ronnie, Tony?
Okay, so Ronnie, next time you're in Florida, you can feel free to go find Tyler and kick him in the ding-ding.
Ronnie, I know you were here for the Roval. Nick, I know you're going to be here for the Coke 400. Just meet me at Clydehart on Thursday if you're there for Clydehart for that week. You can definitely beat me up then.
I think we'll let Tyler sit out because we've had him mention two drivers and both of them have ended up in the barrier.
Absolutely, but getting back to the story about Nate Siefker in the 24-hour race here at Spa, the two drivers that he led, or the two drivers that out-qualified him, one was an Argentinian national touring car driver, and the other one was a Chilean national touring car driver. Wow. They out-qualified Nate, but Nate just walked them to the point where we were able to make 3 driver changes and still maintain the lead until all hell broke loose at about 5 hours and 45 minutes into the race.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. Charles Quiros has called it an evening tonight. Mark Walker has called it an evening tonight as well. Sam Cooper Bennett, you saw him come out of pit lane. He is one lap down right now, not for position in 16th, sitting behind, I believe that's Scott Brinson in front of him on the road. It is.
But that could work in Sam's favor, considering that, there are no full course cautions here.
Yes.
And, fuel strategy, depending on when everybody needs to pit, this could play in Sam's favor.
Absolutely. It definitely can. As we could just run through the top 5 here really quick. Nate Siefker leading the race, about a 2.5 second lead as he's about to go into the bus stop chicane to take the start of lap 4. Chris Walker following behind him. About a second or so behind Walker is Scott Brinson. Then you have about a 5-second gap back to Butch Davis in the number 43. He's sitting in 4th, followed by Jeff Webker, Ernie Ludwig, and then Rodney Osmer, where he fell down into the 5th. I'm sorry,
Ludwig got around Webker.
Yes, I'm sorry, the timing pylon hadn't updated yet. So the top 5 is Siefker, Walker, Brinson, Davis, and Osmer, as Ludwig and Webker both got passed by Ronnie Osmer as they head down the long Kemmel Straight. Now, Tyler, how much we know that there are downforce challenges at these tracks, especially in these cars, when you're packed up so tightly to each other. You can see Osmer taking kind of an alternate line through a lot of these corners as he's a little bit wider through Rivage than Butch Davis was. How badly is that dirty air in front of him affecting that Dallara?
With these downforce and the type of downforce they're using, it does, when you get that dirty air, it takes a lot. But even though the road course is different, you want to stay out of that dirty air as best as possible. Keep the front wing clean, as Ronnie took a little bit more curbing there. But yeah, with a lot of these cars, it's best to try to keep the car as clean, and keep the wings as clean as possible, and keeping that air on the wings, because otherwise, being behind someone, you lose so much downforce under braking. It's atrocious.
You need to keep at least one of the 2 front wings in clean air to make the corner work.
Yeah, and that's going to be key, as we see that with Osmer trying to stay clear of Butch Davis. You're seeing that also with Jeff Webker just behind these guys, trying to fight Ernie Ludwig.
Yeah, that battle for 6 is really starting. Oh!
Just a little slide from Ernie Ludwig, and we'll see that a lot tonight. These hairpins, they can catch you out.
Yeah, very much so. As you've got so much power that you can put down. You've got to be real careful with your gear selection if you're trying to lay the power to it.
So Ludwig will fall. At least he only loses 1 position in that, so he was lucky. Carl Burke behind him, going through Malmedy right now.
Ronnie and Butch Davis got together. Ronnie is letting Butch by, though, just because of they were trying to get around Sam Cooper Bennett, and Ronnie, it looked like he tried to be a little aggressive on braking and ended up turning Butch Davis around, but he did give Butch Davis the position back, though. He did apologize on the radio as well.
Yeah, he did, and that could have been a lot worse. And Tony, that's one of the corners we were talking about in qualifying, is that's downhill, off camber. All the forces are pushing you to the outside of that corner being Rivage. That's, aside from the hairpins, that has to be the most difficult corner on this track, no?
Rovage is the bane of my existence. I have yet to find the right line through Rovage in any car I've driven here. I would rather have somebody hold a gun to my head and tell me that I've got to drive blindfold around the Nordschleife than make the perfect corner through Rovage.
You're not missing much of anything up front. Nate Siefker, Chris Walker, and Scott Brinson have broken away. Siefker has broken away by 4.5 seconds from Chris Walker.
Mark Walker has put it on the hauler.
Yes.
And Jeff Hollingsworth is who punted Sam Cooper Bennett on the opening lap. He had to go in for a front wing repair.
Yes, and Hollingsworth is a lap down as well. So it's 14th and 15th for Sam Cooper Bennett and Jeff Hollingsworth. Dan Brazington right now, the last car on the lead lap.
Not for long.
Possibly not for long. Oh, he's still got about half a track or so back to Siefker, who's just going through Fangies right now. So Siefker again with a 4.5 second lead to Chris Walker. Scott Brinson behind him by about a second, and then it's about a 9-second gap back to the Butch Davis, Ronnie Osmer, Jeff Webker little grouping.
So let me ask you this, Tyler, considering that you have been the most recent one to drive with this group, what's your pit strategy? You got 40 laps for the race. When do you come in for tires?
I would try to split it half and half unless I make too many lockups where I'm tearing up the front tires. I would try to make it a one-stop race.
You mean like Ronnie just did?
Let me. Oh yeah.
Yep, that's
coming into the chicane. Ronnie Osmer, big rear end lockup, had the brake bias set all wrong. He's going to get a slowdown for cutting the corner there.
Yeah, slowdowns are usually about 2 seconds roughly, but you can clear them pretty quick as you're getting back up to speed.
That snapped like maybe he didn't realize how much Butch Davis was.
Well, Butch Davis had lockup as well. Yeah, Butch Davis was locked up as well, and Ronnie just jammed on him to stay off of Butch. And, unfortunately, he's now fallen back into the clutches of Carl Burke and Ernie Ludwig.
Yeah, and just really unfortunate break for Osmer. But yeah, with the tires, though, that's the one thing is you got to take care of the tires if you want to try to make it a one-stop strategy. As Carl Burke is around. Oy.
That's off at...
And he towed.
Yeah, that is.
I think he got wedged in that tire bolt. Whoa, and there he goes.
Spun it off the back end of Lacombe. And he is called it an evening. Has Carl Burke, so he is
put
done.
It on the hauler.
Yep.
One thing I would like to point out, Chris Walker is starting to reel Nate Siefker back in. What was a 5-second gap is now under a 5-second gap.
So that lead could be coming down. And Scott Brinson has I have a feeling that Brinson has a little bit in reserve with that race car because he has just maintained that 1-second gap back to Chris Walker. As Walker falls back, Brinson is falling back. And now as Walker is starting to move up, Brinson's starting to move up as well.
Well, I dare say that both of those guys, and it's been seen before, Walker and Brinson are two of the best when it comes to saving tires late in a run. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. Siefker may have just burned all the goodie off those Firestone Firehawks. And you're seeing Walker and Brinson start to reel him back in.
Yeah, I was going to say as well, I think if I was Nate, granted, I know how Nate runs these cars, but if I was Nate, seeing that you've got a 5-second gap, I would get off the loud pedal a little bit, start putting yourself in a little bit of reserve, and see what these guys have and just play it by that. Because, I mean, 5-second lead is pretty huge for Spa.
Well, the other thing too is if he calms it down for a lap or two, he could heat cycle these tires and have them come back to life.
Exactly.
So Nate Siefker going through Fangi's into campus corner, which is the very end of the second sector and the beginning of the third sector, going into Stabilo. So he has a pretty healthy lead right now, 5.5 seconds on Chris Walker. Scott Brinson still looming. And then a long gap back to Butch Davis, who is fighting, I believe,
Jeff Webker.
Fighting Jeff Webker. Oh, yeah, who just actually overtaken.
Yeah, Woobs just got by him.
Yeah, he did. He just overtook Butch Davis, has Jeff Webker, and then about another 3 seconds back to Ernie Ludwig, and then 7 seconds back to Rodney Osmer. So, as you would have expected, as what is typical here with road racing, you have little pairs or little trios of cars all over the track, but they're all very spread out. And I apologize, but I don't think Walker's changing anything right now.
No, and looking at the lap times too, Walker's been patiently running 57s. He's the last 5 laps, Walker's running the 57s, while Brinson's also in the 57s. But then you got Siefker. His last 2 laps are just gotten even quicker. He's in the 56s. It just seems like Nate's just going to stay on that loud pedal until he makes a mistake.
So basically, he did do what we said he probably should do. Is he backed it off for a couple of laps, and now he's starting to uncork it again.
Yeah, I'm looking at the lap times for Nate, not including the first lap because of the start, and they were still getting up to speed. But from lap 2 all the way to lap 6, he was running consistent 57.2s to 57.3s, and then the last 2 laps, he's shot it up to a 156.6, and then the last lap was a 156.4.
So if we can ride on board here with Nate Siefker. So essentially, Lewis Hamilton is putting in qualifying laps right now, while everyone is just trying to conserve what they've got here. As Siefker goes into the bus stop chicane.
So are you saying that there's a blown floor diffuser on the number 10?
Yes.
I think he's got the old
6.9 now, jeez.
I think he's got the old Braun trick diffuser at the back end of that car, the double diffuser.
Oh gosh.
We've seen
what's
it
that
all
side
season
skirt
long.
on that car? That's like, yeah, okay. Thank you for Lotus 79 technology.
Oh yeah,
the ground effect
drop. Yeah, the ground effect. Yeah. Having that little mechanism where they can drop the side skirts on the straightaway, and oh my goodness.
So, Siefker's, we believe we're still riding on board with them. Is just waltzing away from this field here as Walker and Brinson have fallen to now 5.5 and 8.5 seconds behind him. We're coming up to about a quarter of the way through. I'm sure you guys, this is as we expected here. It's a lot of action right at the very beginning. Unfortunately, Sam Cooper Bennett and Jeff Hollingsworth getting caught up in something. But other than that, it's been pretty straightforward racing with little minor incidences here and there.
And that's kind of to be expected with the size of this road course. 4.35 miles, 21 turns. You're really going to get the field strung out because there's not going to be a lot of side-by-side with that many corners.
Just looking back through the field, Rodney Osmer getting it a little wide through Rivage as he tries to put Raul Alvarez. I'm sorry, that's not Raul Alvarez. That's Mark McFadden. Apologies there.
That's Rawl behind Ronnie.
Yes, it is. It's Mark McFadden he's trying to put under pressure. Again, Osmer started in second, has had a bunch of little mistakes, Tyler, that has really put him in the back, and he's on a recovery drive right now.
Yeah, and I mean, just seeing how hard he's pushing as well, it's kind of hurting him as well. I've seen him go off track a little bit there, getting into the AstroTurf as he makes a clean, easy move there, and just making it look super easy. That even if I tried to do that, I'd probably end up wrecking myself, especially how long it's been since I've ran a road course with the IndyCar lately.
That's the last car he's going to be passing for a little while, at least for position, as he passes the start-finish line and heads into the La Source hairpin. Ernie Ludwig is already up the hill, halfway down the Kemmel Straight and heading into Lacombe. So Osmer has quite a distance to go before the next car he passes, Tony.
Yeah, and adding in, I mean, 23 seconds is the difference right now, so that's going to be a lot of pushing that he's going to have to do. I mean, at least once he does catch up to Ernie Ludwig, he'll have an extra 3 seconds to Butch. But it's going to be very interesting as Stiefker's already put in 8 seconds now to Chris Walker and 17 seconds to Scotty Brinson.
And the reason why it's 17 seconds is because last lap we saw Brinson do it. Stiefker's in the pits?
Yeah, Stiefker just came into the pit road, so looks like Stiefker's going for the two-stop strategy.
Allows you to push a little bit more, but as I was saying, on lap 10, going to lap 11, as Chris Walker is in as well, Scott Brinson looped it out of the bus stop hairpin, which is what put him so far behind.
Oh, boy.
He has elected to stay out, so he will now be the race leader. As Jeff Webker comes into the pits as well, Butch Davis elects to stay out. Ernie Ludwig comes in.
Yeah, very interesting. So it looks like about 11 laps then for fuel.
Yeah, different player strategies, and so that's what you're thinking here. It would be a fuel issue as to why they're coming in so early.
Yeah, because I'm curious now on the fuel because it just seems
92%.
Wow,
they do not have a full boat.
That is
even still though, you would think they would be able to at least make it at least 15-20 laps. You would think.
Yeah, but that's that in a 92% fuel load. That's maybe a lap around here.
Yeah,
a lap, maybe 2. So it's not like it's a difference between 20 and 10. It's maybe a difference between 20 and 18 if you're lucky. But Brinson decided if that is the worry, Brinson has decided he has enough to stay out, as well as Butch Davis. So Scott Brinson holds the lead here at Spa Francorchamps in Liège, Belgium.
Now the curious question will be: Is Scotty Brinson going to come into the pits this time then? Because with Nate Stiefker and Chris Walker on fresh tires, you already know Nate's going to be gunning for it.
And he's coming through. He's just passed through Blanchimont, going into the bus stop chicane here, and he does take it wide, and he's in.
So then, from what I'm assuming, then is green flag runs, only 12 laps you're going to get out of this.
That's what it's looking like. Next one we would see is Butch Davis, who's coming through the bus stop as well.
There's already gone around him too.
Yeah, Nate's gone around him, and he was just about to get passed by Chris Walker as Butch Davis heads into the pits. So Nate Stiefker heading down the hill now. About to go up Eau Rouge. Radillon. Then on to the straightaway. As just a position check. Brinson now coming out of pit lane. Right now, as you see him coming back up to speed, going down the hill rather. See, I know up from down, Tyler. Going down the hill, I would assume that's third place for Scott Brinson here, as we're going to have to wait another about a minute and a half here before all this sorts itself out.
Yeah, I want to say that Brinson would be in third. Ronnie Osmer up to fourth. Butch Davis, it looks like he may have fallen down to seventh after that pit stop. So Butch Davis just having a dismal pit stop there.
And he's on the Kemmel straight right now. Still being shown in fourth position on the timing pylon, but that will change the next time these guys go through. So Nate Siefker is effective race lead.
Question mark will be by how much of a margin?
I mean, I would have to assume it was 10 seconds after the pit stop. Is it showing him 3 seconds behind Brinson and 10 seconds ahead of Chris Walker? But have to assume it's that or close. Siefker now moves up to his spot at the top of the pylon. Walker about to hit the line now. 10.5 seconds behind.
Wow. God, he's probably about 18 seconds, roughly. 22. Oof.
So that could be not the greatest in-lap from Brinson. That could also be old tires versus new tires. And around these road courses, Tony, I believe if you're here, those old tires and new tires, they do matter.
Even more so than on the ovals. The difference between the haves and the have-nots, it's so easy to burn. I'm going to borrow a phrase from Richard Petty. He called it the goodie. And every tire manufacturer, they put a strip of rubber on every tire that when that gets warm, not hot, but warm up to operating temperature, that strip of rubber is going to give you the best performance out of that tire. After that, what you've got is what you've got. And once you've worn the goodie off the tire, it's a huge fall off in most cases.
And that's what we've seen out of the pit stop. But again, Brinson.
I've got Siefker right now as purple on this lap.
Again,
this could be fast lap of the race out of Siefker right now.
Yes.
As he comes into the bus stop.
Again, so fastest of all so far is Siefker, and he is
57.0. There you go.
He was putting in 50. I think the quickest lap I saw him run was a 56.4.
He lost. He went from purple to blue, coming into that last little chicane.
Yeah,
that third sector, that third and final sector for Nate Siefker is not his best.
And if you look at the third sector, it's Stabilo, which is a fast corner, Blanchimont, which is a fast corner, and then it's the bus stop, which is a traction zone. So could it be that the car it's clearly hooked up right, but maybe not as right as it needs to be for the traction zone, Tyler?
It's a loose nut in the helmet.
Yeah, maybe not. It's just really interesting seeing that. You would think he would have been able to find those times, but at the same time, maybe he's trying to think of big picture overall, knowing, especially seeing how big of a gap he has already. I mean, 12-second gap to his teammate Chris Walker, and then his other biggest competitor Scott Brinson, who's 22 seconds behind him as well, and then Ronnie, who's trying his best right now to catch back up. He's been knocking off some time, but he's still another 28 seconds back.
Well, right now the battle for sixth is just hot and heavy as Butch Davis and Ernie Ludwig just throwing bombs at each other.
I was just going to say, I'm looking. That's the closest battle on track right now. is the battle for sixth. Ernie Ludwig in the number 16 tied ride up at the front, and then Butch Davis behind as they go through Puholm. These two have really been with each other pretty much all race, so even pace. Neither one of them, Tony, has really made a mistake. So this is bound to be a good race here.
Well, Butch had an oops coming out of the hairpin, but he collected it very quickly. And you're right. Two of the guys that they're gonna run clean laps consistently all race long. Ernie Ludwig and Butch Davis. When you put these two guys on a road course, it's going to be robotic laps of they're not going to put a tire wrong. They're not going to, put the car in a bad situation. And of course, Butch then proves me wrong going into the chicane. Thanks, Butch.
Oh, man, but what a dive, though, on Butch. And great job on Butch. Very easily could have let off the gas and flip that wing on the rear end of Ludwig, but very good to keep it on and lock it up as he did to stay out of Ernie Ludwig.
Well, the biggest thing is he was probably worried about his own front wing. Forget Ernie's rear wing. If you get that front wing crinkled up on these cars, good luck getting it turned into the next corner.
Front aero downforce, extremely important in open wheel cars, especially in these cars, because I believe it was Tyler, you said at the beginning of the broadcast, these things don't like to turn to begin with. And if you take that front wing off, they turn it down slight better than a stock car per se. But you take that front wing off, these things become a devil to drive, as Davis took a look into Puholm, but nothing much doing.
Yeah, no, trying to drive a Indy car without a front wing, it almost feels like you're driving a school bus, a dump truck, anything that's like 3 tons or bigger, or just any heavy machinery, because that's what it's gonna feel like. Because you think you can be able to make some of these quick turns, and then all of a sudden you're going, "Oh, hi, tire wall."
As you could well attest to in a GT3 car.
Yeah, that was. I'm still not happy over that. After
you're the only driver I've ever met to turn an Audi R8 into a pavement modified.
Yeah, that just happened recently too. Frank, that happened at the R24. Let's just say I was not happy when it let loose on me like that.
I could imagine.
So. Well, Doc, the last thing I remember was dirt sky, dirt sky, dirt sky, pretty nurse.
Yeah. I was gonna say Tony can attest to that, because I made the mistake and I said a few words, and all of a sudden, next thing I know, I said, okay, what happened?
Drag race between Ludwig and Davis.
Yep, then Butch Davis on that Kemmel straight, that long straight with the draft, will take the position finally, and now we'll see if he can run away here from Ernie Ludwig.
And he had to have been using the push-to-pass button at that point.
Yeah, had to have. We might actually, I'm going to try to take a look. We might be able to see in the cockpit to see if it shows how many push-to-passes. Yeah, we can actually. Ludwig has 9 push-to-passes left, while I go over to Butch Davis. Butch Davis only has 6 push-to-passes left, so Davis was using, he was being heavy on that push-to-pass button, trying to get around Ernie Ludwig.
And again, Tyler, as you had mentioned at the top of the broadcast, that these push-to-passes are not like, say, the ERS system in the Formula One car. The ERS system in an F1 car regenerates at the start line after every lap, or there's a certain amount you can use.
Yeah, there's a certain amount you can use. Well,
Brinson only has 1 left.
Oof, boy, that's not good.
Yeah, we're not even at halfway yet.
No, I mean, especially add in too. I'm going through some of the field real quick. Webker still has all 10 of his. And for some of you guys at home that are still trying to understand what this push to pass is, IndyCar has a push to pass system, which is different compared to what iRacing has now. With IndyCar recently, it's pretty much almost like a curse boost where you press a button and you have like another like 10 horsepower and boost roughly that you can use in a certain amount with a certain amount of time, like for
Right.
about 2 minutes roughly.
It's 30 seconds per
Okay.
per button push, and what it
Right.
does is these cars have with a turbocharger on them, and turbochargers have what they call a wastegate, and there is a certain amount of boost that IndyCar lets the car have. Let's just say, for example, without using push to pass, let's say they let them run 10 pounds of boost. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but you're jamming 10 extra pounds of air, or pounds per square inch of air into the engine. And you're allowed to, because you're shoving more air in, you can burn more fuel. What IndyCar is allowing is they give you 10 30-second boosts where instead of that wastegate popping off at 10 pounds, it might give you 20 pounds. And I'm just using I don't know the exact numbers because I'm not a IndyCar mechanic, but I'm just using this as an example. 10 pounds is normal. You hit that push to pass button, the wastegate goes to 20 pounds, which gives you all that extra boost from the engine. So instead of making 700 horsepower, you're now making close to 1,000 horsepower for 30 seconds.
And as you were describing that going up the hill, Nate Seifker was actually using his push to pass. It was his second one that he used. And Tyler, I cut you off. I do apologize.
No, you're all good there. I was about to say the same thing. That I'm keeping an eye and looking through the field. Seifker now has 8 push to pass left. Second place of Chris Walker. He has 9 still left. And then, like what Tony was saying earlier with Scotty Brinson only having 1 push to pass left. That's yikes. That's not really helpful near the end of the run.
And fourth place, Jeff Webker, has all 10 of his left.
So
yes, he does.
That could be really advantageous for Webker if he is able to catch up to Scotty Brinson. Because if he's able to catch up to Scotty Brinson, Scott's going to be a sitting duck.
And that could also be a case of now when you get iRacing, when you set your wheel up for iRacing, there are certain buttons that it forces you to map. Push to pass is not one of those buttons that it forces you to map to a control on either your keypad or your wheel. And if I remember right, I don't think there's a default mapped button to the push to pass. So could that be a reason why we're seeing some guys in this late, like Webker hasn't used any, Raul Alvarez hasn't used any, Kevin O'Brien's used 2.
Mark McFadden hasn't used any.
McFadden hasn't used any. So could that be a reason why we haven't seen some of these guys use one?
Very much so.
Yeah, it could very well be. And I mean, it could also too. They probably also feel too that, especially with trying to have like a keyboard close by or not having a button box system, they might not have enough buttons on that wheel to adjust what they want to do, or even have that boost button on there.
Well, the other thing is too, Spa is such a difficult track to get around on its own. There's just one more thing that could F up your race.
It could be, especially if you use it in the wrong place. Right now, Nate Seifker in the lead has extended that lead out to 16 and a half seconds as you see him going through the third sector through Blanchimont here. And what he is going to do as we get through this, through the bus stop here, he is going to cross us into the second half of this race. So 20 laps down And 20 to go as we've hit halfway, Tony.
I just can't get over the lead that he's eked out right now. I mean, yes, I know Seifker is a road course ringer, but 16 seconds over Chris Walker, that's insane to me. I make that 17 and a half seconds.
Somewhere in the UK, Lewis Hamilton is saying those are rookie numbers. You have to pump those up.
Yeah, well, Nate Seifker also doesn't have the advantage of a blown floor diffuser leaking the oil system into the combustion chamber. And what was the other one that was just recent?
DRS, DOS system.
DOS system, that's the one.
So,
and Nate Seifker also doesn't have the advantage of air quote party mode.
Oh, yeah.
He certainly does not have that as he goes through Pujon and into Fanges right now. As there's really no battles on track right now. The closest we have right now is Mark McFadden and Raul Alvarez. It's the closest we have right now. That's the battle for 8th position. So we'll sit on this one for right now. Mark McFadden in the blue, number 22. Raul Alvarez in the white, number 86, who just overshot. And there goes that as McFadden goes into the pits.
McFadden, the first one to take his second pit stop, I believe.
I believe
correct.
so as well.
And McFadden will be falling a lap down as Seifker is still on track. And I would not be surprised if Seifker comes into the pits next time by.
Yeah, because that would be 11 laps for Seifker as far as the pit stops go. Now, there is no limit on the tires for this race.
Yeah, because that's not something that real world IndyCar does. And speaking of real world IndyCar, are you guys excited for this weekend?
Oh, yes, I am. I've already, I mean, come on. It's the greatest spectacle of racing for open wheel. One of the greatest.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the Indy 500. This year is going to be a very good race. And how about an Andretti on pole?
First time in 28 years, I think they said.
I believe it was 28 years. And that was with
his grandfather.
His grandfather, yep. Mario Andretti, who did it before.
I mean, that's Andretti and Indianapolis. Those two names are pretty much synonymous with each other, and to see an Andretti at the top of the pylon at Indianapolis would be great. Also, a guy that you do have to watch out in that race for, Fernando Alonso. He's going back to Formula One next year.
Looking to become the first man in how many years to make the Triple Crown happen?
Yeah, he's won the Grand Prix of Monaco. He's won the 24 Hours at Daytona.
And 24 Hours of Le Mans.
And 24 Hours of Le Mans. And now trying to win the Indy 500.
And Seifker in the pits as well.
So now, here's something I've been meaning to bring up. If you take a look at Memorial Day weekend, normally, you have...
It's the greatest weekend in racing.
Absolutely. For a gearhead, you can't find a greater weekend.
Yep.
But you've got Monaco that takes place in the East Coast of the United States. Monaco takes place at 6:30 in the morning, I believe, is when the green flag drops.
Something in that area, yeah.
6-7 o'clock normally.
Okay, hear me out here. It's a logistical nightmare, but by the time you finish with the Monaco Grand Prix, if you could get a private Learjet,
there's no way
to immediately fly you to Indianapolis, get a helicopter to the Speedway.
Your Learjet would have to be a Concorde.
I didn't say what the jet had to be. There's people out there with military surplus Tomcats that do Mach 2.
Sure.
But what I'm saying is, if you could hire a jet that was fast enough to do so, fly you into Indianapolis International Airport, grab a helicopter, fly into the racetrack, so you could run. It's possible. I've done the math on this, but you would need a very fast jet to do it. You fly from Monaco to Indy, catching a nap on the flight, of course. Run the Indy 500. Then jump on another jet immediately and fly to Charlotte, North Carolina and run the 600. It would take a Herculean effort to do it, but I've done the math. It is possible to do so.
By the time you're halfway through the Indy 500, your body would be screaming at you, "What are you putting me through? Please stop doing this to me."
You're not wrong, but the thing is, think about it this way. How many drivers during a 24-hour race actually sleep?
Yeah, that's
Brinson into the pits.
Yeah, I was just going to say Brinson, who was behind Siefker, peels off and goes into the pits.
Yeah, no, I agree. The last one that tried to do the double of doing the Indy 500 and the Coke, and the Coke Zero, or not Coke Zero,
Coke 600.
Yeah, Coke 600 was Kurt Busch a few years ago. I was watching that firsthand.
Yeah, that was.
He gave a very valiant effort. It was just really unfortunate when he had his mistake show up on him on turn 2, and then he went out to the Coke 600, had a heck of a run there, and just I think got caught up in another wreck there. So it was just really unfortunate, but it showed that he had the capability to do it. But in a documentary that came out later on, it showed how exhausted he was even after the 500.
And I believe it was Tony Stewart was the last one to do it before him.
Tony Stewart was the only one to actually do all 1,100 laps.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I believe it was, oh God, I think that was maybe 2001, 2002 maybe, was when Tony did his double.
I believe so.
Yes. He was still with Gibbs when he did it.
Yes.
Yeah, that, and the only reason why I remember the time frame is because it was in one of the NASCAR Thunder games as a challenge. Might have been 03. But yeah, a little bit of a jink there from Kevin O'Brien getting around Mark McFadden. That was for position.
Oh, he was on his push to pass as well. So he's got 4 left now.
It's Raul Alvarez behind them.
Raul Alvarez had some issues there too, losing 2 spots out of it. Ooh, McFadden locked it up a bit, and Kevin O'Brien using another push to pass to get away from these guys.
Smart idea.
Get far enough away from them that they can't use you as a drafting pick.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly right. So we're just a little bit past halfway here. We're working on lap 25 of a scheduled 40. This race shouldn't be pushing too close to that 2-hour time limit. Let's run you through the fields here. Nate Siefker in the lead, and he has been absolutely dominant from the word go here tonight. It's just been an absolutely fantastic run from him, guys.
Absolutely. He's led all but 2 laps so far.
Yep.
Yeah, those 2 laps would have been during the pit cycle. Following about 23 seconds behind him as he goes through No Name Corner is Chris Walker. Now, Walker started in 3rd, had a very solid race at the start, and then after that first pit stop, kind of fell back a little bit further than he was, and he's just been continuing to fall back by about 1 second to 0.5 seconds a lap ever since then.
Yeah. And so far too, Chris Walker still has 3 push to passes to use as well if in case he needs to defend.
So that no limit racing machine going through the final sector, sitting currently occupying the second position. Sitting in third place right now, not too far behind him actually, only 10 seconds behind, is Scott Brinson, who is very admitted, not a road course ringer, but Tony having a very solid night here tonight.
Very much so. And I think, Scotty's right now has got to be looking big picture. As much as I know he wants to win, as close as this points battle is, you got to take a look. Jeff Hollingsworth right now is mired back in the lap down cars at 14th. So that's a huge points gain, especially considering Brinson got the bonus point for leading a lap during this event. Brinson can make up a ton of points on Hollingsworth tonight.
Without a doubt he can. As we look now back to the fourth place car on a recovery drive, Rodney Osmer. Now Tyler, he had a very good race at the start, qualified second, and then just a couple of unforced errors mired him in the back. He has worked his way back up from that as well as he possibly could have, currently sitting in fourth.
Oh, without a doubt. And with Ronnie being about 7 seconds behind Scotty, I've looked as well. Scott Brinson does not have any push to passes left. Ronnie still has 3, so if Ronnie was smart and he was able to push a little bit to catch up to Scott Brinson, if he still has those 3 push to passes left, it'll be a perfect opportunity for Ronnie to try to steal third away from Scotty if he is able to catch up to Brinson with roughly 14 laps left to go in this race.
And we've been talking all night about those push to passes. Those things, they're not just good for offense too. They're great for defense. And if Osmer were to catch up to Brinson, that's going to put Brinson on the back foot there, Tony.
Very much so. And that's the problem when you do burn your push to passes as early as some of these guys have. If you have to defend late, you're a sitting duck, and it's the worst feeling in the world to know that, A, the guy's got your draft, and B, he's got 200 more horsepower than you as you blow down the Camel Straight. You're toast.
It's certainly, and that will definitely put him in that area of I've really got to push the car in order to keep that from happening. As we look back now to fifth position, Jeff Webker, another guy who's had a quiet but solid race, sitting there currently running laps in the 158 area, doing it very consistently. As a matter of fact, his last 2 laps was a 158.231 and then a 158.234. So Webker about as solid as you can be, sitting in a top 5 spot, Tony.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that we haven't talked about is, the fact that iRacing has allowed in-car adjustments with the roll bar the weight jacker and the sway bar. That plays a huge factor in what these guys are able to do with these cars. The fact that Jeff Webker, I'm looking at his past few laps, he's been running consistently sub 2-second laps. And, as the fuel burns off, this car gets very ornery.
Yeah, they do. They do become very, very unruly, especially as we've talked about especially at the top of Radion, to where you're off, you're depressured. There's not much in the way of downforce keeping the car on the track, and you add worn tires to that, it makes for a recipe for disaster.
And where the fuel tanks are in this car, when they go light on fuel, it takes a lot of weight off the rear to begin with.
Yes, it does, without a doubt. As we look back to 6th position, Butch Davis. And Tyler, we've seen him a lot tonight. We saw him in a battle about 5 or so laps ago with Ernie Ludwig. He has flown away from Ernie Ludwig. He's got about 8 seconds on him right now. And he's another one who's had a very quiet but very solid night.
Yeah, and I mean it's showing really strong. He was running consistent in practice, and then even in qualifying, ran a really good time. And he's just been putting in the laps, biding his time, being safe. So he's having a really good showing right now. Qualified in 6th, and he's still running in 6th. So it's been a very clean race for him. So I mean, who knows? Maybe it's depending on what happens further up ahead. He might have an opportunity later on, but as of right now, very, very clean race for Butch Davis.
Another guy who's had a very clean race tonight, Ernie Ludwig. He currently occupies the 7th position, going down the hill towards Eau Rouge and Radillon right now. And Tony, you mentioned him. He's one of these quiet guys, especially around road courses, that's just going to clock consistent laps after consistent lap, and he has certainly done that here tonight.
Very much so. I mean, Ernie, on a road course, Ernie's my type of driver. And Ernie and I have very similar driving styles, I've noticed. We might not be the fastest horse in the barn, but when it's time to put him back in the barn, we're still running. And Ernie doesn't beat up his equipment. He doesn't overdrive the car. He just turns laps, chugs them out, and just he's a machine when it comes to being consistent.
He has done exactly that over the course of this race. That is all of the cars on the lead lap. Is just the top 7. Sitting 1 lap down currently, Kevin O'Brien, Mark McFadden, Timothy Bates, Dan Brazington, Sam Cooper Bennett, and Jeff Hollingsworth are sitting 1 lap down right now. Raul Alvarez, 2 laps down and 3 retirements here tonight. Carl Burke has called it an evening. Mark Walker and Charles Quiros. Those are the guys that have called it a night here this evening. As we work on lap 29, and everyone pretty well spread out. No battles for position anywhere. However, Jeff Webker is drawing a little bit closer to Rodney Osmer as the laps wind down.
An interesting side note, I'm looking at the different incident points that have accumulated by the different drivers. Rodney Osmer is currently sitting atop of that pile, and the next nearest driver is half of the incident points that Osmer has.
Is Osmer trying to win the incident record again, like he did 2
Probably.
years ago?
Well, it's a championship for everything, and if you can't win one, you might as well try to win another.
My mom says I'm special.
Trust me. 2 years ago, I think he and Max Verstappen probably broke iRacing with the amount of incidents in the 24-hour Spa race.
You're not wrong.
Because Max Verstappen was doing that a lot and hitting the top split for their race that they were doing. And Max Verstappen, I think, had almost 1,000 incident points alone.
Oof.
And I think Ronnie.
Yeah, he went from an A license to a D in that one race.
Yep.
Let that total sink in, folks. Especially those of you who are iRacers. He went from an A 4.0 to a D 2.5.
And that's a professional Formula One driver, by the way.
Yeah. And that was pretty much the same thing that happened with Ronnie, too, because Ronnie was up there. I think Ronnie was at a B license, and then he had about 900 or so incident points, which Davis overdrives the bus stop a little bit there as I'm watching him. Oh, Sam.
Yep, Sam's around.
But yeah, Ronnie, I think, had about 8 or 900 incident points, and he went all the way down to a D license as well. It was, I couldn't believe it.
We haven't really talked much about Sam Cooper Bennett. Usually in the booth with us, yelled at me last week because I forgot I actually had work and couldn't do the race last week.
And he told you he would kill you where you stand if you made him miss Spa.
Yes, and unfortunately, first corner incident that kind of knocked him out of contention here. But that spin right there out of the bus stop chicane, I think that's the only incident that I've actually seen him in here in this race. So beyond the first corner, it's been a very smooth run for Sam tonight.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I'm showing on him, other than a couple of exceeding track limit penalties. But Sam is the person that is the next in line, half of Ronnie Osmer's total. Ronnie Osmer 28, Sam Cooper Bennett 14.
And that's a lot of that comes from that first corner incident with Jeff Hollingsworth and the ensuing small spins he had because the rear wing was damaged on his car. So that's where a lot of his comes from.
Can I give you the shocker of the event?
Please do.
Anybody want to take a guess how many incident points both Nate Siefker and Chris Walker have?
2
0.
combined.
Combined, they total 2.
Hey! And I honestly, I can't even see the number.
I can, because I'm the race control. But that's impressive. As fast as both Nate and Chris are going, and as hard as both of them are driving, both of them have each dipped one tire past the track limit.
Yeah,
Wow.
and that just shows that these guys are on a rail. And Nate Siefker, not this lap, but the one before that, ran a time that was less than a 10th off his qualifying lap. So he is still pushing that car. It's incredible to see.
Yeah, we still got the money stop too, so
Yeah, we're inside 10 to go.
Yes, we are. We have 9 laps to go here at Spa Francorchamps, and we've seen we're an hour and 5 minutes into this race right now. There's still a lot that can go on here in just 9 laps.
And I'm calling it now. When Nate does come in for his money stop, since he won't need as much fuel, I'm going to guarantee this now. We are going to see a heater from Nate.
Yes.
He already just set quick time of the race.
Yeah.
With a 56.0.
Yeah.
He has been absolutely flying, and he is to that point now where he's going to go in and come out as the race leader. He is 27.5 seconds ahead, as something just with all the conversation that we had before and going through the field, something happened with Scott Brinson because Jeff Webker has gotten around him. So Webker in a podium position, and Brinson has fallen to 4th.
Actually, no, Brinson came into the pits. I'm looking at the lap times now.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, so Brinson has already made his money stop.
So apologies for that. This is the problem with doing these broadcasts sometimes, is I can't necessarily see what's on screen.
I'll tell you the trick after the event.
Oh, thank you very much. Sorry, completely lost my train of thought.
So Siefker, just the class of the field tonight. I mean, 28 seconds to the good over his own teammate, Chris Walker, as Walker's going into the hairpin right now and heading towards Eau Rouge. Impressive drive from Chris, and Chris will be the first to admit that he's not really a road course ringer. He likes road courses, but he's not one of the best at it. But good grief, I mean, he is not really, he's put one tire wrong all night.
And Spa Francorchamps is one of the classic tracks that everybody knows this track. It's a rather simple layout. The altitude changes and the up and down hill make it a lot more difficult than it looks, but it's a very simple racetrack to get around.
The heck you say? This track is designed like an upside down Uzi.
Yes, it is. So it's a simple layout. Now, if this was the old 8 or 9 mile layout, that might be a little bit different. But again, it's the point of it. The point of this is a classic track that everybody knows. Everyone's watched a race at this track. So it's not one of those tracks that's hard to get. You know what I mean?
It's a simple track to drive around. It's not a simple track to drive around quickly.
Yes. You can make the claim. You can make that statement for pretty much any racetrack.
Siefker's in.
So here we go. Money stop.
Siefker's on his money stop.
Walker's into the pits as well now. Ooh.
Almost clipped the wall, I guess.
New fire suit to the 23. New fire suit to the 23 pit, please.
Yeah.
That was definitely a first you say it, then you do it kind of moment.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty close that any further left, and Walker would have either been one or two things: upside down at pit entrance, or teleporting over the wall and having a 3-minute tow.
Yeah, Walker just stopped into his box. Webker was just entering the bus stop, and now he is in the pit lane. So the top three are in. Scott Brinson, as we mentioned, has already made his pit stop. Thank you guys for that, by the way. And he will retake third. And with that,
I'm going to say Ronnie may have also done his pit stop too, possibly, as he stayed out.
Looking through the times, he's got a 2:22 minute. He's got a 2-minute 22-second lap on back third. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's the trick I was going to tell you about. Yep. But Nate Siefker and both Chris Walker on fresh tires and a lighter load of fuel as we are closing in on 5 to go. Currently we're at lap 34 of 40. Siefker at the stripe last time with a 29.7 second lead. That's nothing short of impressive.
Yeah, no, and I'm sure this is going to be closer to about 31 to 32 seconds.
Well, here we go. Siefker's got heat in the tires now. Let's see what kind of flyer he can crank off.
And he does have his six push to passes too, so he could use them if he wants to run a hot lap.
Is there any chance we can have the boys in the truck go to the helmet cam that we've got on Siefker?
Think we could. As he comes down the hill. Just so much load goes through the car there, and then it all falls off right as you crest the top of the hill. And that car becomes very, very light, very, very unpredictable in that spot unless you have it hooked up the way Nate Siefker has it.
Absolutely, and I can guarantee you, in the practice sessions that have been up all week, Siefker has turned in this particular lap time and time and time again.
You can just see he's not missing an apex. He is hitting every single corner perfectly. It's just has not put a foot wrong.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how he deals with the lap traffic that he's quickly closing in on.
It's impressive to watch. This really is. It's just he's nailing everything, Tyler.
Yeah, and he's just using push pass too. So, and heading in this little draft he's got in front of. Let's see who it is. I believe that's Jeff Hollingsworth just in front. So, going to get really interesting here, seeing how quickly time that Seifried's going to put here coming into the bus stop now.
And again, just nails it perfectly again. And you can see that if we're still on board, that...
There it is. 56-1.
He's flying. If you could see just how that inside front tire just kind of stops, just all that load comes off, and it's just that's when you know you're pushing the car to the absolute limit, is when something like that happens.
Right on the verge of complete lockup, yeah. In Seifried, I'm seeing damage on Ernie Ludwig's car. So this could get very interesting.
Yeah.
As Seifried's closing in on him hand over fist right now.
Yeah, Ludwig's front wing is very not the way it's supposed to be, and if this were real life, he would not have that bit of front wing. I'm going to go back and look through and see what happened.
The thing is, too, is he and Butch Davis are fighting for position, too. Only 2 seconds difference right now between Ludwig and Davis.
He's had this damage for a little while here. Just trying to go back through and trying to find where that damage came from. He's had this damage for a good 3 laps or so.
I'm not sure if he realizes just how bad it is. And not where Seifried was hoping to catch him.
No. Oh, I would not have pushed it. Got away with it though, but boy, I would not have pushed it. I mean,
that was heads-up driving from Ernie. That was definitely heads-up driving.
Absolutely.
Nicely done, Mr. Ludwig.
Sometimes you get put in that spot where you don't want to let them go just then, but you somehow make it work, and Ludwig just did a fantastic job of doing that.
Absolutely. As we are 4 laps to go, 30 seconds to the good. Nate Seifried over Chris Walker, and another 20 seconds back to Scott Brinson.
And then another 12 seconds back to Rodney Osmer, as that's looking to be the closest battle on track right now, at least as far as position goes on the lead lap. Rodney Osmer is 3 seconds ahead of Jeff Webker. So that being the closest battle for position, still a minute behind Nate Seifried.
Well, the bad news for Rodney Osmer is Jeff Webker has 4 push-to-passes left.
And I take you saying that as Osmer has no more. But he's got 3 left.
Yeah, he does have 3 left, but Webker's got an extra one in his pocket compared to what Osmer has.
And I'm sure neither one of them are listening to this broadcast, and neither one of them know that, right? So we're not stealing trade secrets here. Sure.
What trade secrets?
As far as them knowing how many push to passes each other has.
F them if they can't take a joke.
As
just gonna send it.
Continue on. I think. Well, no, that's. Are they both a lap down? Because Butch Davis and Ludwig are dueling right now. Yes, they are.
Davis and Ludwig are both a lap down. Osmer and Webker, the last 2 cars on the lead lap, going for 4th.
And Ludwig and Davis, these 2 are dueling. This is for 6th position. And these 2, again, have been with each other all race long, and coming down to the death of it, they're right back on it. And even with that front wing damage, look at the run that Butch Davis got coming up to Kemmel.
I dare say Butch Davis used a push to pass to try to defend. The only thing is that front wing damage was just way too much. And Butch Davis was able to get by Ernie Ludwig.
And Ludwig was able to get up to Davis thanks to Siefker putting a lap on these guys. So that's what brought Davis back to Ludwig. And I think now with the damage, Davis is going to extend his lead, extend that gap again.
Absolutely, as they're going by Kevin O'Brien right now. No, I'm sorry, that's not Kevin O'Brien.
To say that might have been Brazington. It is.
That is Brazington, yes.
He's taking it off-road through Fangies. Not typically the preferred line.
It's a race car, not a lawnmower.
An expensive lawnmower, though.
However, one thing you can do if you're looking for something to do while you're waiting for Nate Siefker to mercifully put this race to an end is you can go to our Teespring store and get all the awesome Top Fuel Racing ESBN swag.
Yes, it is. It's one of the brand new things that we have gotten. That's teesprings.com. You can also then search ESBN. Yes.
You can search ESBN, Esports Broadcasting Network. And if you want to support the Top Fuel Racing Series, you can get your very own Top Fuel Racing Series presented by ESPN t-shirt, sweatshirt, coffee mug, face mask.
Apologize for that. You were saying t-shirts, coffee mugs, face masks?
Shirts, t-shirts, sweatshirts, coffee mugs, and face masks.
So that's a nice wide variety. And I was, before I rudely interrupted you, I believe there's, if I'm trying to look back through and find it, but I believe there's a promo code that you can use for free shipping in the U.S. I think it's ESPN 2020, I think it is.
Let me go look.
Yeah, I'm looking through here to try to find this promo code. You can tell we're professional and we're on it, right?
It's a brand new thing, the whole Teespring store. So,
that's nice. I just accidentally liked a post from 3 days ago.
Sure, why not?
This looks like Nate Siefker is getting ready to get the white flag here.
We will have to talk to Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett post-race and find out what that promo code is.
Yes.
1 minute and 55.4 second lap time. The previous lap on lap 38 for Nate Siefker.
And that's 3/10 quicker than anything he ran in practice, and now he's got Sam Cooper Bennett in front of him.
And Siefker doing the wise thing and not pushing the issue going up through Eau Rouge, because that would have cost both those drivers their race had he pushed the issue there.
Yeah, there's absolutely no point. You're 32 seconds in the lead at this point. Wouldn't be surprised if Sam called the, hey, can I have a favor, bud? Can you not lap me?
That's what it's looking like right now.
We are on the last lap, so.
Yes, we are.
I mean, Sam is catching up to Timothy Bates, too, so that's probably the reason why Nate's not, reason why Nate's not wanting to go around him.
Yeah, Nate has clearly backed off.
Because you can see Timothy Bates just in front, so this is a good battle for ninth for Sam Cooper Bennett. So Nate's gonna let these two battle while he's just gonna almost in a way do a victory lap right now.
Well, not only that, but he's letting them battle an extra lap. He's giving Sam, by not lapping him, he's giving Sam an extra lap to go and get him.
Yep.
Well, here's the problem. Sam doesn't have any push to pass left.
That's very true. But coming through Blanchimont and into the bus stop chicane, he has led from pillar to post. Oh, there they go.
Contact.
Boy, Sam tried to put the move on, could not get it done. Siefker stops, comes through the bus stop, and the man who has led this race from pillar to post, Nate Siefker, wins the ESBN Top Fuel Spa Grand Prix. And boy, oh boy, what a dominating performance.
Yeah, my goodness, just huge victory as Chris Walker's going through the bus stop now for second, and Scotty Brinson still another 24 seconds back from him. Chris Walker crossing the start-finish line, gained a little bit of time from that little incident that Siefker came to a stop to avoid, but even still, almost 30-second run, a 30-second difference. That's just amazing.
Scott Brinson going through the bus stop chicane now. He will come home in P3. Rodney Osmer will hold on against Jeff Webker. He will finish fourth, barring a spin here. He keeps it straight. Jeff Webker coming into the bus stop chicane now. He will end it, and that is the top five. Those are all the cars on the lead lap that have come home to finish. The last two cars to finish, though, will be the battle for ninth. They're going through Fanges and Campus right now. Timothy Bates and Sam Cooper Bennett. This battle is still on, as I'm sure Sam is going to throw it up the inside of Bates here one more time.
If he's close enough. I don't think he's close enough to even attempt it this time.
Yeah.
Especially with all that front wing damage.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, that run through Stabilo, I think, kind of put the kibosh on that. As Bates goes defensive, locks it up. Coming through the final corner now, and that will officially put this race to bed as Nate Siefker, just an absolutely dominant performance here at the Circuit de Spa Francorchamps. And we will get these guys in here momentarily for interviews, as this has just been an incredible race.
Very much so. And you know, it's just been a driving clinic, as, you know, Siefker, like you said, led from pillar to post. And Frank, I believe you've got Mr. Siefker with you now.
I do. Nate Siefker, your winner here tonight, bud. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Boy,
no Gatorade tonight?
Not yet. Or maybe something planned later, but don't worry about that.
It was just an absolutely dominant race, dominant car. Just how easy did you make it look tonight? It was fantastic to watch.
First off, I think you guys are feeding back through Kevin, so you might want to do that there, Kevin, real quick.
Yep.
But other than that, it was a good race overall. I just had to keep the pace overall, and just really, I knew I was watching Chris the entire race. I was watching Scott's pace the entire race, and really, I was really just focusing on just setting solid laps throughout the race. I knew my target every lap of the stint that I needed to be at, and I pretty much nailed it all night long. Was just hitting target. And I was going to make a late push to have a bonsai lap that I could have got to the 54s, but I don't know if you guys saw that, but I just backed off once I saw those two battling. And yeah, if I passed them, I probably would have got caught up in that. So I'm glad I didn't. But yeah, it was a good race overall for me, I would say. Definitely a good night for the NLR bars after Atlanta. You know, we did a lot of analyzing after Atlanta to not let the mistakes that happened last week happen again. And I think we did a great job tonight of making sure that didn't happen.
You absolutely did. You put maybe 1 foot wrong here all night long. Just going into your first road course race of the season here. This has to be a big momentum boost going on to the rest of the season. The most difficult race we've run thus far this year as far as track. And you just aced it with flying colors.
Yeah, it's nice to, you know, get a pretty solid win here. I mean, yeah, I won by 28 seconds, but it wasn't super easy. Just trying to keep a time delta to Chris every lap. It wasn't easy. He won. He got. I guess I would have won by 30 odd seconds if it wasn't for that last lap. But really, it was just maintaining the pace that I had. I knew I had a pace advantage, so I just used it all night. And it's something that I think everyone's got the ability to improve here, and once they do improve and they get better, Chris has definitely stepped up his road course game. It's going to be a lot more competitive at the pointy end of the field, and I look forward to the battle there.
He had a big night in points with Jeff Hollingsworth having a bad night, caught up in an incident early on. I believe, Tony, if the math is correct, I believe you're going to be either at or close to the points lead. Going into the 5th race of the season, that's got to be a big boost for you.
Yeah, it's a big boost. I'm looking forward to it for sure. Last season I came second, and the guy that I lost the championship to wasn't here. So in theory, I should be the next guy up. So I got some work to do to get there.
I believe you're going to gain a few spots, but it's not going to put you into the points lead yet.
Oh, so close.
So I didn't think I would, but this is our first road course. We got 4 more of these. I'm just looking at these 5 road courses as easy points, and if I just convert them into easy points, I can afford maybe 1 or 2 nights off on the ovals compared to Jeff or Scott that don't quite do as well. So yeah, I just got to continue to perform to this level here at the road courses, and the results at the ovals. I think I'm as fast, if not faster, than those guys. I just got to convert that. I haven't done that yet this season, except for Phoenix. But yeah, I just got to convert that, and we'll probably end up winning more often on the ovals, and hopefully just continue to win on these road courses.
Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my girlfriend. She had a pretty rough day at work, and she's having a fun night in now. So thank you to her for being there, and I got to thank the NLR boys, of course, for being there as a team. Just really working to get our setup right for this week, getting everything done right. And thank you to you guys for broadcasting. Thank you to Scott for putting the league on. And real quick here, my girlfriend's gonna bug me if I don't, but she wants to let Sam know that she got what is that, Helena? Is Samite or something like Mamite or Marmite, I guess. So yeah, she wanted to let everybody know that. So yep.
And I just threw up a little in my own mouth.
Yeah.
All right, Nate. We'll let you celebrate your victory by congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so there was your race winner, Nate Siefker. We have Chris Walker waiting in the wings here, and Tony, I believe that is you.
Chris Walker, not the great. That was probably one of the best road course races I've ever seen you run. Talk us through just how you're able to keep your focus for all 40 laps.
Well, it was just managing the tires, not trying to push it. Kind of watching fuel, watching everything else, watching behind us, behind me, in front of me. I really didn't feel like pushing it. I knew Nate had the pace, and I knew where Scott was. Scott was really my only challenger at that point, in all fairness to everybody else. But Scott was the closest guy to me, and I kept maintaining that gap. I would push a little bit where I knew I could be faster than he was when him and I were nose to tail for a couple laps. So I found my strong points there, and just tried to capitalize on those.
Well, you definitely capitalized all night long. As I'm looking through the whole incident point thing. You and Nate Siefker are the only ones to not do more than 3 incident points all night.
That's a pretty good accomplishment, I'll say. That's better than a win in my book, because at road courses, I mean, yeah, I've been pretty quick, and but my incident points have been through the roof, and that was something I wanted to concentrate on.
Well, you definitely did do that, and I believe working with the NLR guys like you have been has definitely stepped up your road course game. Moving on to next week, though, as bear with me here, and I need to pull this up because I'm not sure exactly where we are going. We looks like we are going to Gateway. Your thoughts going to the tight one? I believe it's a 1.5 mile, 1.25 mile.
Yeah, I think I've had pretty good results at Gateway. It's always seemed to be a pretty good track for me. So I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Well, Chris, before we let you go, is there anybody you want to thank?
I want to thank everybody at No Limit Racing. I mean, we've got Nate and Jeff Webker, Tim Bates, Dan, Butch, Jeff Hollingsworth came back with us a few weeks ago, and happy to have him back, kind of as a adopted No Limit Racing guy. And those guys have just been great. Couldn't do it without you guys.
All right, Chris, congratulations on the podium. Looking forward to seeing you next week at Gateway.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right, that was your second place finisher there, Chris Walker, and I believe we had Scott Brinson here a second ago. Here he is. Scott, third place finish tonight at a road course, which is, from what I've heard, it's not your strong suit. So I'm sure you have to be very happy with your performance here tonight.
Yep, that was the goal coming in. I hadn't been doing very well on the road courses for the last year, so my last podium was October 16th, I think it was, of last year. And we were creeping up on that year mark, but I put the work in this week. I was hoping to get second. I was all over not Kevin, but Chris Walker there early on. And I just made one mistake, and he drove off, and I just kind of paced myself after that. And yeah, pretty good night.
A couple little mistakes put you back. How hard was it to refocus? You said you're not comfortable on the road courses. How easy was it to try to refocus after those little mistakes and just get back to it?
I have my moments. Some nights I'm focused on these things. Some nights I'm not. I was pretty focused for this one. I have been all week. Is the car's just temperamental sometimes, and I was trying to do everything I could to stay with him. So just trying to give it a little too much, and I immediately got back to it because I had Ronnie on my ass all night. So I had to put my head back down and stay in front of him. So he kept me motivated all night.
All right, we go back to oval racing next week. We're at Gateway or Worldwide Tech at Gateway. I'm sure going back to an oval is going to make you feel a little bit better.
Oh yeah, that actually last time we were there is the last race I won back on my dad's birthday on New Year's night, and I'm hungry, man. I'm like an alligator in a swamp, so don't fall in.
Is anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yes, of course. I want to thank ESBN for sponsoring this race tonight and for always being the official home of Top Fuel Racing. I want to thank all the drivers that came out tonight. Couldn't have races without them. We only had 16 here tonight at Spa, but this place and road courses in general have a way of running people off. But I appreciate the 15 besides me that came out tonight, and we were able to get this one in. And lastly, I want to thank you guys up here in the booth. Kevin, this was your first race here. Welcome to the league, brother, and I'm sure you did a great job. I look forward to going back and listening to the race. And Tony and Tyler and Frank, I want to thank all you guys as well. And Sammy, you've helped put this thing on for a long time, so thank you too, man.
I'm exhausted.
Well, we've got ESPN co-founder Sam Cooper Bennett joining us now. Sam, Frank was mentioning that there may or may not be a promo code to get free shipping in the United States at the official ESPN Teespring store.
Yeah, there is.
Sam, before you answer that question, I got one more person or a few more people I want to thank, and that's my teammates. I want to congratulate them. Osmer, great job on 4th. O'Brien, great job on 8th. And my man, Sammy, hung with it. He had a whole bunch of crap happen to him. He'll tell you about it. But he got a top 10. That's 2 weeks in a row that Rated R put 4 drivers in the top 10. Winning teammates. Great job, gentlemen.
All right, there's your third place finisher here tonight, Scott Brinson. Bud, congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
But yeah, going back to what Tony was asking me, yeah, there is a promo code on all items in the Teespring shop right now. If you buy something, if you put in the code ESBN20, you will get free shipping in the US.
So there you go. But getting back to the race now, Tony, Tyler, a great race here tonight. Now, lots of open racing, not much going on as far as battles. But what we did see was very, very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime the Top Fuel Racing guys come to a road course, you're gonna see different battles taking place. The Osmer Webker, the Davis Ludwig battle. Those guys. They're just gonna put on a great show. Yeah, you're gonna have somebody that's gonna stink up the show at the front of the field. But once you get past that person that is greedy, hi Nate. Anyways, when you get to like Webker, Davis, Ludwig, and O'Brien, those guys put on a marvelous show all night long. And at the end there, the battle between our buddy Sam Cooper Bennett and Tim Bates, that was an amazing last couple of laps that those two guys put on.
Tyler, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the race in general. I mean, some of the battles that were going on between, and then just all of the heartbreak for some of the other drivers, and then just the surprise and excitedness, I guess you could say, with some of the other drivers. I mean, especially with Ronnie coming back to fourth. I mean, great racing overall.
And it was a fantastic race, as Spa Francorchamps usually provides. So that will do it for us here at Spa Francorchamps. For our producer, Kevin Conyu, Tony Trapasso, and Tyler Vickery, I'm Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for joining us. We will see you next Wednesday night from Worldwide Tech Raceway at Gateway. Thank you very much for watching. Have a fantastic, fantastic night.
We got the points lead, baby.
Woo!
Just gonna send it.